see, we get to put down the Plasma Jockey. It even gets to slap for an extra damage. And this is how the deck really goes. So that's it. I mean, it's a super simple deck. It plays out very powerfully. Welcome back to another video, my friend. I'm Blake and you're you, and this is Mono Red on a budget in Explorer. Now, if you go to MTG Arena Zone right now, you'll see that Mono Red is one of the 5 Tier 1 decks, and they consider it the second best deck in the format for Explorer right now. Now, that's great, except it has 26 rares and 5 mythics, and that's crazy to get started. So here is a version that is all commons and uncommons and does quite well on the ladder. Now let's jump into it and let's do a little deck breakdown so you can understand what's happening here. At turn 1, Kumano faces Kakkazan is one of the best turn 1 drops we can have. It gets to ping, which is fine, doesn't really matter, but then it's going to turn whatever we bring down on our 2 drop into +1/+1 bigger, and then it also comes down as a 2/2 hasty creature. Quite nice for 1 mana. We also can have the turn 1 Fanatical Firebrand. It's just a 1/1 hasty boy that can tap to ping something by sacrificing itself. It's solid. At the 2 drops, we have Burning Prophet. This is a 1/3 for 2 that gets +1/+0 when you cast a non-creature spell, but also it has some nice ability to scry, sets up our draws. It's quite nice and does a lot of work in the deck. Fissure Wizard is admittedly one of the weaker cards in the deck. There's not a lot of card draw options whenever you cut out the rares and the mythic rares, but a 2/1 that can let you loot is pretty good. It does its job just fine. And then we're running 3 Lightning Strikes, classic mono red card, 4 Underworld Rage-Hounds, which is a very good card actually at common. The fact that you can play this on turn 2 and then turn 4 sometimes, or sometimes later, escape it and continually escape it in the late game makes it quite good for that basically free card out of the graveyard. And sometimes if they don't put up an early blocker, you just get to hit them for 3 a couple times, and that's really good. We also are running 4 copies of Wizard's Lightning, very nice in the deck. We have 6 Wizards between the Prophet and the Wizard to turn it on, so we're getting to cast this for 1 mana a lot of the time, and that is a really good thing. Now, I think the underrated MVP of the deck is Plasma Jockey. This thing, you never cast it for 4 mana. You're always blitzing this for 3, so it's coming in. Blitz means it comes in and it gets haste, but then it sacrifices and draws a card at the end of the turn. And the ability to stop one opponent's creature from blocking is quite nice and sets up some really tricky scenarios for our opponent, especially when you come down on turn 3. Twinshot Sniper, we're starting to stretch a little bit as we get into the heavier mana costed cards. Twinshot Sniper is fine. It does have the channel ability, which is pretty nice to sometimes get away something out of the way. It does its job well, but we're starting to get to the point where these cards are a bit of a stretch. And lastly, same thing with Jaya, Venerated Firemage. This is an attempt to replace Torbrand. It does the job, certainly not as good as Torbrand, but it comes down at 5, and it makes all your red sources deal 1 extra damage, which is really helpful. And it does have the ability to come down at 5 mana and then ping something for 3, which is pretty good. Well, I take that back. It itself only pings things for 2, but all your other sources get to deal an extra damage. 24 lands, just keeping it very basic with all mountains. This deck is a budget deck, but it can absolutely still hang all the way up on Platinum and beyond in the ladder. Now let's jump into a few games so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, looking at our hand, I quite like this. Having Kumano and Plasma Jockey turn 3 will mean that even if we drop 2 Firebrands on turn 2, we're going to get a lot of damage, and you'll get to really see, especially the Plasma Jockey, really probably shine here in this game. I'm excited to show you what it can do. So we're just going to start off with the Kumano. It's best turn 1 because then it gets that second part of the saga set up for that turn 2 play, and it's a lot of fun to just be going off turbo. So I think here I would consider casting the Fissure Wizard if we had another mountain to loot, but at the moment I don't want to loot the mountain and risk not hitting my Plasma Jockey next turn, so I'm just going to drop down 2 Firebrands. Also, Firebrand is pretty decent to put a counter on. They both have haste. We're getting to swing in for 3 just like that. Next turn, we're going to have a 2-drop, a 2-drop, a 1-drop, and a 3-drop, and if they put down 1 creature, it doesn't get to block. So they are really in trouble here. Now here's an interesting scenario where because they haven't played a creature, I actually think I'm going to hold on to the Plasma Jockey to save its ability more than anything. So I'm going to start off with a Kumano, ping them. We're going to go ahead and attack and just make sure they don't have any shenanigans and unsummon or anything. We'll put down the Fissure Wizard, and I'm going to decline. Don't need to do that. And then next turn, we probably have the turn 4 win set up. but we'll see what they have, especially if they play a 3-drop creature. That's exactly what I want to see. Yeah, he doesn't really have the liberty of attacking here, and now you get to see, we get to put down the Plasma Jockey. It even gets to slap for an extra damage, and this is how the deck really goes. So that's it. I mean, it's a super simple deck, plays out very powerfully, and that's how it works on the ladder. Let's get another game in and see what else this deck can do. Once again, we see the nice little combo of Kumano plus a 2-drop plus a Plasma Jockey. This is exactly what we're looking for. And we're even going first, which is really good for this red deck, and I'm feeling quite nice. Again, turn 1 Kumano is probably always going to be the play. Now we're doing just fine. If we draw a mountain, I'll go Fissure Wizard. If we draw something else I'm considering drawing, we will go Firebrand. So yeah, I really like just dropping this here, dropping the Fissure Wizard. Go ahead and getting my loot to make sure we're drawing spells that matter. This could become a problem because it's going to get big enough. It's already, if he drops another zombie, big enough to drop my Fissure Wizard. So we will have to consider Wizard's Lightning, depend on what he's playing here, but probably just going to be swinging in. Okay, especially here with the ability to deny the block. Denying the block is so good. You run into so many scenarios where they just have a single blocker like this, and you just get to get in for so much damage. It's amazing. See, already we're in a fantastic spot. We can Lightning this next turn if we need to. We could even Firebrand this, Lightning something else, hit him for 5. We've just got a lot of good options at our disposal. Okay, of course he does put the counter on it, so that's quite good. I think the play here is first we gotta hit this with the Lightning. It's gonna get too big and be a huge problem. And then once again, Plasma Jockey, just so good. It's an MVP at common in the deck. It puts in so much work. And just like that, we've all but guaranteed this game is a win. Okay, a little bit of a different hand here. We will start off with turn 1 Kumano, but we don't see the Plasma Jockey in hand, so you're going to get to see a slightly different version of the deck. We've got a couple ways to go here. We could go Rage-Hound, which is potentially more damage, but also more vulnerable to being blocked by a 2-drop. Since I see the Epicure, I am sort of assuming that they are playing a Rakdos deck. So I think they usually don't have any things that hit for 2. Most of their creatures are 1/1s. I think we're safe to play the Rage-Hound here and start swinging in. And even if they put down like a 2/2, we can discard this. Okay, that's fine because we have the backup option of the Twinshot here, which I think is the way to go. This will set us up for some pretty good attacks. We want to start getting that damage in as soon as possible. So we hit that guy and we swing in. He can block with the Epicure if he wants. That's fine. We get a creature out of the way, and we're doing all right. Next turn, I'll probably Fissure Wizard, discard this, depending on what we draw. Okay, that is a fairly vulnerable target to us. Let's go ahead and hit this. Maybe we'll hit a Wizard's Lightning to clear the way for us, but we shall see. Firebrand is actually a great card here, I think, because I think this is a great play to just ping this guy for 1. And then swing in for my free 6, keeping the board clear, keeping a lot of pressure up on right now. I think that's a pretty good move. You can see the deck just really just rolls super smoothly. 1/2 is okay, interesting. And he will not have enough mana to sack it this turn. So that's totally fine. We don't mind if he wastes his turn doing that at all. So let's go ahead and swing in first. Let him not see what our move is. He'll probably trade here would be the smart thing to do. Yep, that's a smart play. And we're doing pretty well now. We're just going to have so many creatures. Any meaningful card next turn will probably end the game. And even probably, he's got to set up at least 2 blockers here not to take the L. So we're just in another really good spot. The deck just really rolls. He can do that, and unless he's got a sack outlet, that's just going to be the game. He could have a sack outlet, which would be a really nice play on his end. But at the same time, without playing as creature, we've got 6 damage available next turn. and I just don't really see what he's going to be able to do. And that's the game. The deck really, really works. Try out this deck. Send me a comment if you have any questions about it, but it's really fun and really good if you're just getting into this Explorer format on Arena. Thank you for joining me for another video, my friend. I will see you in the next one.